right, guys, we got another video here. This one is black men are celebrating the death of this influencer. Let's check this one out.
This Ashlee Janae story is one of the craziest stories I've seen on the internet in a very long time, and it got the entire internet divided. Ashlee Janae is an influencer who has went viral for her content around her interracial relationship. She's dating an older white guy as a young black woman, and that's something that people gravitated towards. People like other people who wish to be in their own interracial relationships gravitated towards this. She would often flaunt the extravagant lifestyle that her white boyfriend was able to get for her, and from the outside looking in, they was the perfect couple and she had it made. She was a young black girl in Miami who was able to bag a hedge fund manager. Her boyfriend was Joe McCann. He describes himself as a technology executive. He's a hedge fund manager. He owns his own company. So the dude had a lot of money. And from the outside looking in, he was taking care of her and giving her a lot of that money. Even though there was no evidence to the contrary that they was a loving, devoted couple who was committed to each other and loved each other, people always had a bad feeling about this guy, Joe McCann. And her comment section would actually prove that. Now, it's unclear if these are just people commenting because, they disagree with interracial relationships, or if they knew something that Ashlee and the rest of us didn't know.
Well, I just want to say that I actually did some reading up on this chick and found out some pretty unfavorable things that she was saying about black men. And what I notice a lot with certain black folk is that if they go and date somebody of the opposite race, maybe, white or whatever, let's just say Caucasian, right? And, I'm not saying everybody does this. I'm not even saying most people do this, but I am saying there are some out there. And I think this chick is one of them, where they go out of their way to insult or put down their own race. And I found a lot of stuff on her, in the past, comments she's made and social media stuff. So apparently people have been digging all this stuff up on her, just trying to find out what kind of person she was. Because even listening to her talk, her attitude that she has, she talks like a ratchet hood rat.
Rock-a-ball, baby.
Go look at some of her videos if you don't believe me, some of her past posts or whatever. And she strikes me as somebody of ratchet demeanor. She has a ratchet demeanor about her, at least the way she talks. As she was talking in some of these videos, I'll say that. And so I have a theory on what I think happened to her, and I'm gonna get into that a little bit later. I'll tell you guys what I actually think took place, but let's check this out and see what else he has to say.
About 18 weeks ago, one user commented under a picture of her and Joe, and they wrote, "He is going to harm you, get out." 19 weeks ago, another user commented under a picture of her and Joe, and they wrote, "What a dummy. He will kill you, one the slave owner." Now, this person don't really seem like they had any type of foresight or they knew any information about Joe. It just seems like hate, which obviously we detest and disavow completely.
Come on, players, stop hating. Stop hating. Stop participating.
But people had a bad vibe about this dude and people were expressing it to her, but it didn't really seem like she was too concerned. About a week and a half ago, Ashlee and Joe went to this beautiful island in Africa called Zanzibar. They went there for vacation, but Joe had other plans for Ashlee. Joe had plans on proposing to Ashlee in Zanzibar, and when they got there, Joe proposed, and we've seen everything play out on social media.
Social media is a trip, man. They love selling dreams.
That was pretty.
The engagement was also a birthday surprise for her as well, because she turned 31 years old in Zanzibar and she posted her birthday pictures on April 5th, right? Again, it looks like she was very happy to be in Zanzibar. She was very happy to be turning 31. The caption for the post says, "Chapter 31, and I'm exactly where I need to be." She's feeding giraffes on her birthday. It looks like life couldn't get any much better for Ashlee, which is why the internet is absolutely stunned to find out that after Ashlee got engaged, after Ashlee was feeding giraffes, after Ashlee was talking about how life couldn't get any much better for her at this point, and that she's just turned 31 and she's exactly where she wants to be, after Ashlee expressed how grateful she was for life, the internet was stunned to find out that Ashlee was found dead shortly afterwards. And even more shocked that Joe was saying that Ashlee self-deleted herself, that Ashlee did it to herself and took her own life.
Ooh, yeah. I'm gonna have to go ahead and sort of disagree with you there.
Now, I'll just call cap on that immediately. After watching that engagement video, after watching her, past social media stuff that she's been posting, she, she's flashy. She likes to show off. And everything that you see on her social media and all the way leading up to, her dying, none of it spelled doom. None of it spelled, suicide or anything like that. Now, I understand that a lot of people who do commit that, you do everything in their power to kind of throw you off the path or whatever. And a lot of time you don't see it coming, but everything that's lining up to this, usually they want to be alone when they have plans or plan to do something like that. They make sure that they distance themselves from everybody. When you find them, they're usually ducked off somewhere you don't expect to find them, and they're discovered, right? And so this would be a wrong place, wrong time type of situation if she was planning on doing that. But let's continue.
A friend of Ashlee named Savannah Britt would take to social media and say, "We need justice for my friend Ashlee Janae, who was found dead in her hotel in Tanzania. And her fiance, Joe McCann, claims that she hung herself. Anyone who knows Ashlee knows she would never do this. We need answers now." Officials did confirm that Ashlee was found unresponsive in her hotel room by Joe. So Joe found her unresponsive, and Joe is claiming that she did this to herself. But if Joe and Ashlee is on vacation, then why was Joe gone long enough to where Ashlee would be able to do this? To me, that doesn't make sense, all right? And if this person was in the mind state where they were going to do this, I feel like there would have been clear-cut signs. But her family is saying this is not even possible, right? And I'll be real, social media right now isn't buying this story either.
Okay, so at this point, let's just go ahead and lock up Joe and everybody else that believes his story, because you cannot for a second get me to believe that this woman hung herself. If you have not seen the news yet, this lady here is Ashlee Janae. She's 31. She's an influencer. She has a very large following on Instagram. I'm not sure if she has a TikTok page. If she does, please tag it in the comments. This woman was in Tanzania for her 31st birthday. While they were there, he proposed to her. Somewhere along the lines of that proposal and the rest of that day, they got into an argument, according to him. They slept in separate rooms. That's where it starts to not click for me. They got into an argument after the proposal. Now, he's claiming that he went into her room and found her unresponsive. The family's claiming that he waited 2 days before he even called the authorities or the family to let them know what was going on. So he wants everybody to believe that he just walked in there and found her unconscious. He's claiming that she hung herself.
Let me tell you what I think happened, guys. Here's what I think happened. This is just a rough estimate of what I think went down. I could be wrong, but this is just what I think. I think that that night they had an argument. She went off on him and he snapped, took her life. And then the 2 days is basically from him trying to figure out his next move. Maybe he had like a Ray Donovan type character that he could have called and had some stuff set up. Who knows, right? But he did make a mistake in doing that. And then he had to buy some time to figure out what his story is going to be. Even though usually when you commit these murders and you commit these crimes, guys, you're not thinking with a clear conscience anyway. Days could go by and your mind would still be in shambles and you're going to miss something, right? Especially with technology and everything today. Eventually, it's only a matter of time before you get found out and you get exposed, right? Something was definitely left on the table, more than one thing, I in my opinion. And I think that it's only a matter of time before they put the pieces together properly, and then they figure out everything that happened. And so I'll be watching this case, following it or whatever until it's all said and done. But there's some things to take into account, in my opinion, when they got into the fight. Now, if you listen to this girl talk in some of her other posts, she talks real greasy, all right? She says a lot, she cusses a lot, she talks crazy in a lot of her posts. Most older white men who are successful, they don't take kindly to certain words being used. And I think there were some things that people didn't really focus on that you might want to focus on. I think when they got into the argument, she was talking to him crazy, kind of like how black mothers talk to their sons sometimes when their little kids coming up and they do something they're not supposed to be doing or they make a mistake. And I think she went there with him, and he was so shocked and appalled that this black girl was talking to him in that way. And at his stature, he felt extremely insulted, extremely disrespected, and he snapped. And there was probably alcohol involved as well to, heighten everything I'm talking about right now. And I think in the heat of in the moment, that's what happened. He couldn't take it back, and it was over. So now he had to figure out how to get out of it. And then him being in Africa, that's another layer to this whole situation, because guys, I don't know the rules and I don't know the laws in different countries, and I don't know what it is in Africa where they're at, but I guarantee you something's going to be off. It's going to be different. It's not going to run the same way as it would if this happened in the United States, in my opinion, but I don't know.
Shit, my nigga, please.
She's in a foreign country on her birthday. She just got proposed to. According to the family, she is full of life. She's very positive and everything, but somewhere along the lines of this entire vacation, she hung herself. This is what he wants people to believe. I'm not buying it. Lock him up and everybody else that believes his story.
The ironic thing is kind of crazy, though. Some of the stuff she said about black guys, she just said too much. I just found too many things out there and that people were exposing or putting out there to make me understand or believe that she has some self-hate issues. I truly believe that. And I think that it's one thing if you just date who you want. I mean, I'm a guy who believes that you love who loves you, right? My kids can come in here with anybody, any race, as long as, they're doing right. But my kids, I don't give a damn what they are. Okay, that's just what it is with me. And a lot of people feel that way, right? But the issue I have with this lady here who just lost her life is the fact that she couldn't just date who she wanted to date and just keep it pushing. She had to go out of her way to insult her own race, right? Put her own race down, put black men down. Like, that's the issue that I have, right? Anyone who's dating outside of their race, I mean, live it up, love who you want to love, right? But the ones who go out of their way to talk down on, disrespect their own race, it's disgraceful, and it's outlandish. And I have no sympathy for people like that. So when I hear guys out here talking about this case, the majority of them being black men, and they're saying that this is not their fight, and they don't have an opinion on it because they have nothing to do with it. And then when you like I said, you dig into her past and you find these things out, then you understand why they say what they said. So I personally understand why a lot of them feel that way, because technically it isn't. I mean, she went outside of her way to say, hey, basically F black men, so to speak. And so I guess most of them just said, okay, well, they took their toys and they went home.
Cancel that bitch. I'll buy it now.
And when this came up and this happened, a lot of people were just, saying how ironic it is that out of all the shit she was talking about when it comes to black men and stuff that they do, she most likely had her life taken by this Caucasian male. So yeah, it's crazy work.
It's unclear if him waiting 2 days is confirmed, but what is confirmed is, yes, they did have an argument according to Joe. They went their separate ways. He goes to another room. She's in the room they booked. They don't speak, according to Joe, for a while. He comes back to check up on her because he hasn't heard from her. He finds her unconscious and unresponsive. I don't know too many people, especially too many Americans, who's waiting to go to Africa and to do that to themselves, bro. I'm thinking that if somebody will want to do that to themselves, it'll be somewhere familiar. I don't think that that young woman is saying, hey, I'm in Africa where my family is nowhere around me. I have nobody around me that knows me other than this man who I'm currently beefing with and arguing with. Let me do this to myself in a foreign land. I just don't think that's plausible at all. I don't. I do think something nefarious took place here.
Facts.
And the family also thinks so too, because the family released the full statement, and here's what they had to say. The family statement writes, Ashlee Robinson was on what should have been one of the happiest trips of her life, a birthday celebration in Zanzibar, Africa. Ashlee's birthday was April 5th. She just turned 31. Surrounded by beauty, love, and wildlife, she became engaged during a safari, an unforgettable moment that marked the start of a future she was excited to build. She and her fiance, Joe McCann, were staying in a luxury villa at the Zori Zanzibar, continuing what we believe was her dream trip. But just days later, that dream turned into our family's worst nightmare. Ashlee was found unconscious in her villa and was rushed to a local hospital where her death was confirmed hours later. Nothing about this loss feels real. One moment she was celebrating love and life in truly Ashlee fashion, and the next she was gone. The suddenness, the unanswered questions, and the distance from home have made this tragedy even more overwhelming for our family. At this time, there is an active investigation into the circumstances surrounding Ashlee's suspicious passing. Although we have many questions, we are placing our trust in the officials in Zanzibar and are working closely with them as we seek clarity and answers. I'll be real, bruh, with family right now. If you trust African authorities, the police in Africa, if you trust the police in Africa to prosecute and to seek answers in the death of your daughter that involves a really, really, really wealthy white man, you're out of your mind, bruh.
Shit, my nigga, please.
All right. I'm African myself, and I'm here to tell you right now, bro, these African officials are corrupt, and they going with whatever the rich white man got to say, bro. Y'all got to hire a private investigator. These officials ain't doing a goddamn thing.
Damn.
But it goes, Ashlee was deeply loved. She was vibrant, full of life, and has so much ahead of her. Our family is completely devastated, and we appreciate the prayers and compassion we have received as we navigate the unimaginable loss. We respectfully ask that any information not directly provided by our family be treated as an unverified and not considered factual at this time. This is where the story takes a turn, and it turns into a gender war. So some black men are going back and finding her social media posts and conduct, and they're saying, hold on. Based off what we found belonging to Ashlee, her death ain't our issue. It ain't our business. We is minding our business and staying out of it.
What?
I don't want to go as far as saying they're celebrating her death because of these posts, but they're not really too sad or showing any type of remorse or sympathy for her because of these posts.
I mean, look at it. Every day, black men wake up and find new ways to embarrass us. I mean, what made you put that post? Now, if that's a one-off, hey, man, cool, whatever, you know. I found some other stuff. And like I said, do your own research, guys. Go out there and do some digging or whatever. And there's places you can go, and there's plenty of things she did. Going back to like 2012, 2013 or something like that. It goes back. But yeah.
So one post, Ashlee wrote, every day black men wake up and find new ways to embarrass us. In another post, Ashlee says that, that she's been wanting mixed kids since the 3rd grade.
Yeah, see, this is 2013. And so she was like still a teenager, I think, herself. She was like 18, 19, maybe, something like that, around that time. So she's felt this type of way. She's hated herself for, I think, quite some time.
She would write, I've been saying since the 3rd grade my children will be mixed, laugh my A off. In another post, and this appears to be an Instagram comment, Ashlee would write, oh brother, I see 305 in your bio. Let's talk about all the Miami men, not the white ones though. Again, she says, let's talk about all the Miami men, not white. Beating their women still, or is that too touchy? Go live your life while I live mine.
Yeah, I mean, you can see it in the comment there. You know, she had to put that not white in parentheses. Like I said, man, you can usually read these type of people after a certain couple. All you need to see is some of their posts. They'll tell you everything, you know, you need to know about them. And I think she was one of those type of people. She, you know, got with this guy, and getting with him, I guess, makes her feel a certain way. And so she has to boast about it. And then at the same time, that's not enough. So she has to also put down her own, right? And try to basically compare them, almost as to say, hey, they're better than you. And in so many words, that's kind of what she did. And that's why a lot of people kind of frown down upon, you know, those comments. And that's why a lot of people really don't give a damn about when they heard the news and what happened to her. They kind of just shrugged their shoulders and kept walking.
Don't you just love happy endings?
And I mean, you know, learning the things that I've learned, I mean, that's kind of like how I feel about it. I'm not hurt. I'm not going to cry or shed a tear. Is it a shame that somebody lost their life? It's always a shame for somebody to lose their life, especially over something that, you know, like this. I mean, because this does not warrant having your life taken. I'm not sitting here saying that. But what I am saying is that it's also nobody's right to blame anyone or point a finger at someone because they feel a certain type of way about whatever. So, you know, if a black man wants to feel a certain way about her learning the things that they learned, I mean, that's their prerogative. Just like it's yours to mourn for her, you know, because she was, you know, her life was taken. So like it's however you want to look at it is how you look at it. But the reason why people are talking about this in the first place is because she was doing all this boasting online about, you know, saying this white man, and now he's probably the one who ended up taking her life. So it's just an ironic type of thing, almost like a running joke. In certain instances, you can take Charlie Kirk and do the same thing. You know, as he actually lost his life, he was literally talking down on black people in a derogatory type of way, and he loses his life right there in that moment. Like it's just ironic in certain instances when you watch certain things.
And
you just have to be very careful of how you move, what you say, and you know what you stand for, in my opinion, because it's anybody and everybody's right to do that. Right. That's what makes freedom of speech and everything beautiful. But at the same time, you can't cry and you can't bitch and moan when consequences come knocking at your front door.
In response to these posts resurfacing, one user says, the woman that died explicitly excluded pink men from committing this kind of violence. That's the point. Somebody says, oh my damn. Somebody says, it gets worse. Shaking my head. This MF basically said white men don't beat or harm women. LOL. Couldn't believe my eyes when she said this.
I mean, you see what I'm saying? I mean, she's talking greasy. And like I said, she was talking as if, you know, the Caucasian male does no wrong.
No.
It's crazy because if we're talking about a numbers game, I mean, the most killing is definitely still them. They are still we're still the minority as far as numbers are concerned. So, I mean, the emphasis they always put on the black folks a lot for a lot of things, the negative things, food stamps, who's on food stamps, who's doing this. When in reality, if you took numbers, there'd be, you know, Caucasians would outnumber the blacks and other minorities by a landslide when it comes to that, because they just have more numbers, right? That's just what it is. But they don't, of course, put the emphasis on that. They're not going to put the microscope over them like that, but that's just what it is. But the stuff she's talking about here is like I said, has people in an uproar, has people, you know, split on taking sides, if you will, on this situation because of the stuff that she stirred up in the past and how she thought about her own people and such.
Shaking my head. Somebody says yikes. Somebody says yikes, but still not right. Right? So, and if you go on social media right now, you hear the discourse of, man, why should we feel bad because of this? Why should we feel bad? You feel me? She ain't rock with black men. She ain't like us. She was online disparaging us and saying mean things about us. Why should we feel sorry? Now, the same argument was here when that dude who was murdered by his white woman in the elevator, that dude when his death went viral and people went back and found his extremely anti-black women posts on Twitter, on Facebook, everywhere, people say, you know what? Well, black women say, you know what? We staying out of this one. This dude did not like black women at all.
And he got the same treatment. I remember that. And I remember that story, the guy who got murked in the elevator by his white girlfriend, and they did some digging in his past, like they always do when these type of things happen. They go through your stuff with a fine-tooth comb and try to find stuff and try to find rhyme or reason to why things happened. And he was the same way. He was a self-hating black man who, took every opportunity to downplay and talk bad upon his own people. And so a lot of people, upon finding that out, they turned their back. A lot of them were black women, of course, when they heard, what he was saying and how he was breaking stuff down. And so, it goes both ways, guys. It doesn't matter. It's not, it doesn't matter if you're a male or female or black or white, whatever. If you're wrong, if you're doing something sleazy, if you're talking greasy, I mean, that's just, it is what it is. And so, I'm saying, she's getting the same treatment.
Now with this Ashlee post, for like her comment was directed towards somebody else commenting on her post. Her saying she always wanted mixed babies since the 3rd grade, things like that. Fine. All I can say is I'm still going to pray for this family. I'm still going to seek justice for this woman. I'm still not going to hold this against her. She's dead. I feel like death is the ultimate redemption. Once you pass away, I feel like you should be forgiven for a lot of what you do. Again, not all now. All right. If you was touching babies, if you was murdering people when you pass away, bruh, hey man, like ain't no forgiving that, man. But for things like this, silly things like this, man, you should be forgiven in your death.
That's the end of the video, basically, right there. I mean, what do you guys think? How do you guys feel about this case? Do you believe that? I'm sure you're not going to believe that she had it coming, but are you upset that it happened? Or if you're black and you're a black man watching this, how do you feel about the things she said and, how she felt about, black men and all of that? I'm curious to pick your brains on that, on your stance, I guess. So leave your comments down below, but I want to thank everybody for watching. If you did enjoy the content, please consider hitting the like and subscribe button because I drop content every single day on this channel. And with that being said, guys, I will see you all in the next video.